that Hudson Hawk is in the same sentence as Blazing Saddles.
Fuck yeah. I'm talking about excellent movies, excellent comedies.
That's how it is. Here we go. Hi. Once upon a groove on an old soul tune. I watch the pen move to shape the breakthrough. Who makes moves, maneuver in the right direction? The rest of you get left behind and messed up in the session. I'm not trying to make a difference. Maybe some pocket change.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey!
Drunkcast Live. It's episode 243.
Yeah,
Drunkcast Style. I'm Travis.
I'm Dylan.
We're a podcast that takes place in Austin, Texas, at Don's Depot, one of our favorite places in the entire world. You can find most of our foibles, stories, and everything at drunkcastlive.com. It's drunkcastlive.com. Go there, check it out. Go look at our past episodes. Go to 802-359-7468. It's 802-359-SHOT, and you'll send us a text message, voicemail, and we'll answer that in a subsequent episode, whenever that happens. Mm-hmm. This show is really just about us hanging out, having some drinks, and talking to interesting people about things that have happened over the week, movies, news, etc. With us this week, we have Adam McWaters.
Hello.
One of our favorite fucking regulars, one of our favorite people in the entire world.
Aw,
Great to see you, sir.
it's great to see you as well.
Your beard looks wonderful. As always.
Thanks. I've been keeping up. I've been keeping them up.
Keeping them up, yeah. What does it smell like today?
Same shit. It's
Okay.
it's
Coconut.
no. It's
Lavender.
like I forget the name of it, but it's one of a set, and it's the most Christmassy one.
Okay.
And
Pine.
a little pine, probably.
Chestnut.
I don't know. Why don't you come over here and smell me, Dylan? Jesus, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, this is
I can't smell it. All right.
30 beard questions. Well, it's good to see you, man.
You too.
Yeah. So this week, I guess we're going to be talking about it's like Christmassy stuff. You know, things are happening. Christmas is happening.
True.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful Christmas evening in Texas today.
You can probably hear the rain in the background.
Yeah. Pouring ass rain.
Mm-hmm.
But the lights are up. The decor is on point.
And I've noticed there's something about being kind of chilly because we sit on the patio. We hang out on the patio. It's like our second studio or whatever. And I've noticed that over time, you get so numb that you're warm again, which is cool. You know,
That's the alcohol.
That's the yeah.
And Mythbusters did prove that does work.
That's how
Really?
people buried in avalanches feel too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Now, Mythbusters did a whole thing about like the myth of if you're cold, you drink to warm yourself up, and they actually did prove there is a little bit of truth to
Well,
that.
it doesn't warm you up. It just makes you not as
No,
susceptible to...
there actually is a small warmth because I guess you're metabolizing the alcohol, so it just kind of
Okay.
yeah. So it actually does turn on some things a little bit and does warm you up.
Yeah.
Then you just feel drunk. You don't care anymore. So, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
It also.
Then you just give in to the cold and
right.
die. Yeah.
Your blood gets a little bit thinner while it's in the stream, so it moves faster.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's this neat. There actually is a minor truth to that.
Okay. Yeah, I always thought it was like because the most traditional, the most important version of all this is the Saint Bernard with the rum or whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because that's everyone's favorite cartoon character. Yeah.
Which is I guess it's a real thing sometime in time.
It was a real
Yeah.
it was a real thing, but you have to couch it in the knowledge that if said Saint Bernard is coming around there and finding your half broken ass and you get to
Right.
down that whiskey, you better hope like somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes after that a person finds you and they're Saint Bernard
Sure.
because you're still fucking dead.
Well, here's
Sure,
the question.
sure.
So,
yeah.
in whatever basis of reality, Saint Bernard's being a rescue dog used by the Swiss Alp security forces, or whatever.
Yeah, and the
ski
Swiss,
patrol.
the Swiss are fucking weird. I'll tell you.
My understanding was they did use them for some carrying, but it wasn't like alcohol. It was like medical supplies or bandage or something. That would seem to make more sense from a realistic, practical perspective. I don't know where the alcohol came into play.
I honestly think,
but I do know that I love the fact that it was taught to me as a child and to my parents as a child the magic of Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yeah,
It's
of
like,
course. Yeah.
If you're getting stuck in the snow, you're going to get drunk to feel better.
right. I hope you do it by Jurg's house because his dog always got booze.
So, but a freaking Bugs Bunny cartoon's like, yeah, when you get stuck in the snow, you drink, you'll feel better.
Well,
I just love how times have changed.
yeah.
Actually, I don't love how times have changed.
I'm relatively
Something that's simple, and also, I mean, like again, I used obsequious before, but I think it works. But like the one funny note about that is that we will often remember the dog actually giving the drink to the person, but the one I remember most that I thought was the funniest because I'd already known about this phenomenon or this thing. Was the dog coming up, taking out a shaker,
Yeah, doing like a
tin,
martini.
making a martini,
Yeah.
drinking it himself, and then fucking leaving. Which I think that's the best version of it for sure, because it's like
The
Because-
downside
because
to
it-
busting your ass outside Yurik's place.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. But like it's the same. It's the same. Like we already know this is a thing, and now the joke is that he's
Yeah.
not giving the booze to the person in the ambulance. Like that's fucking
Were
hilarious.
those
to me.
like Tex Avery or Chuck Jones?
That might be
One
a
of
Tex
those-
Avery one.
yeah.
I honestly can't remember. They all melt together. you
But
know?
it's some amazingly subversive stuff back in those days. Those 40s cartoons were, well, they made fun of Germans, they made fun of Japanese people in very, very nasty ways.
very, very nasty. Very, very gross. And Terry Gross.
Oh, good times though.
Good times. And I think important to, for cultural understanding, like,
Yeah.
Because Looney Tunes said they would never. Disney did that, where they took Fantasia and they cut out the pieces in the Fantasia, the Pegasus scenes, where they had little black cherubs, like overly done, really like blackface cherubs, if you will,
Yeah.
who were doing the makeup for the Pegasi. And they took that out because it was, racially insensitive or whatever. But Looney Tunes never did that. They said, like, no, we're actually, we're not proud of this, but we think it's important that people know that we've grown as a culture and grown as a company, that we can have this and you can look at it and say, look at this. None of this leads into some conversations that I've had about sexual aggravated assault and some other things that have happened over the week, and we can cover that in the next one.
Yeah, apparently Matt Damon's getting shit right now.
Matt Damon's getting shit. Morgan Spurlock's getting shit. And like
Shit for everyone.
Spurlock kind of deserves it in a way.
He's a bit of a hack.
Well, so we can cover this in the next segment if we just
right.
want to keep talking about fun things.
Yeah.
What has happened this week that's not related to Donald Trump or sexual assault?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. Okay, so we
happened.
should definitely cover that in segment 3 then.
The Fighting 3, yeah. We don't yeah, we don't rush into that one.
Yeah, definitely not.
We need more drinks first.
Yeah, more drinks and some more like, hey, we've got some spoilers coming. So if you're interested, if you haven't seen the Star Wars movie yet, if you haven't seen Star Wars Episode 8 yet,
Yeah. Pause now, go watch it, come back.
yeah, or at least wait. We'll preface the segment with the spoilers and stuff.
So other stuff. So we it's Christmassy time.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
What else? Tax bill.
Tax bill was a big thing.
Okay,
Roy Moore lost the
Politically,
election.
yeah, political.
Yeah.
Roy Moore losing is
Very
a good
good.
thing. Yeah.
Fucking fantastic thing, but of course it didn't seem like crap. What was the name of the guy who took over Roy Moore? Morgan Spurlock.
Doug Jones.
It looks like they're not going to allow him to join the Senate in time for the vote, and
Yeah.
it also looks like the vote's going to go without him anyway. So even if we had one more liberal to say no, 2 more Republicans said yes. So it looks like that's going to pass
Yeah.
over the week.
Net neutrality gate.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, net neutrality.
Because apparently the dude who was the chairman has no idea what net neutrality actually means.
Well,
it
apparently
harkens me
nobody does.
It harkens me back to the Stephen Colbert thing, that when you talk about Christian Republicans who don't believe that Jesus was a thing or try to pretend otherwise, is you're either a liar,
Or you're completely ignorant.
You're an idiot or you're an asshole. Those are the only 2 options. And Ajit
Ajit Pai.
Pai,
He's either an idiot or an asshole.
he's either an idiot or an asshole.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with asshole.
Net neutrality, in the very most basic thing, is not going to be $15 extra to go to a website. It's not $10 extra for your Netflix account. It's not going to be that. By
Yeah.
the time that we see that, it's too late.
Right. And honestly,
what net neutrality kept us from being able to do, and the reason why the $15 and $10 thing was so easy for people to, specifically to be able to go up onto, is because that's the thing that people think the most. But really, what it means is that it's unfettered access for everyone to the same internet, and that means that what's going to happen is for people who have Verizon, most likely, most especially, because Ajit's from Verizon. If you have Verizon, you have Comcast, if you have any people who are living in a world where there's no competition whatsoever, your Netflix is going to slow down. It's going to buffer more often.
Yeah.
It's going to slow down.
But any content that Comcast, Verizon, and all
Yes.
own or
Yes.
create
Yes.
will be delivered much more quickly.
Yeah. And unless Netflix decides to, and this happened at the beginning of the Netflix, but because Blockbuster, the reason why Blockbuster lost their footing.
They lost a lot.
Well, they did, but when they poured all of their energy into trying to do this online video thing, they could not compete correctly because they were in a place in time where they had to pay more for their bandwidth.
Yeah.
And the people, the ISPs, were saying, well, you want this, you have to pay us more for it, even though they were already paying for the massive amounts of bandwidth they were taking, just were not able to. Netflix was able to afford it because that was the only thing they were doing, and they were doing it so slow. All of a sudden, they showed up, And by that time, we actually had some protections for these people to not have a fucking problem with it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the next step is we're going to see that become a problem because, like you said, Comcast, Disney is going to have their own thing because they're buying Fox, they're getting Hulu.
Yeah, Disney's about to be 40% of the media market.
Yeah.
They're about to own.
Yeah.
And
they
everyone's
have
like,
the-
I think Hulu's probably going to get. I don't know how they're going to fucking not scrap Hulu because Disney's like, we want to make our own streaming service.
No,
No,
they-
they're going to keep Hulu.
They wanted to do their own, but my understanding is it's just so much cheaper to spend $52 billion and buy Hulu and then just put their stuff into Hulu instead of having their own thing.
Yeah, well, that
That makes sense.
The
Yeah.
whole argument, regardless of the net
All the movies
neutrality
are already in
buzz
there.
term,
Yeah.
like back in the day, like the internet, the lines it was going over, and all of that were easily handleable. Like
Yeah.
200 to 1, because most people, you're visiting a website. At one moment, you download 300 kilobytes worth of HTML and image data.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you read it for X amount. You're not doing shit at that point until you click to the next one or the next link or whatever.
Right.
But it was when peer-to-peer sharing came out that interrupted that, because now you had potentially one person in your local area taking 85% of the local bandwidth shared between everybody,
Right.
because they're on it 24/7 and they're constantly up down, up down, up down.
Right.
And then the term like piracy terms and everything was like bad, and it was all, the whole peer-to-peer thing was demonized, and Metallica and blah blah blah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Then you have shit like Netflix finally get noticed,
Right.
and then it was everybody,
Which wasn't
wants-
viable
yeah,
at that time.
which at
Yeah.
that time, but things were still coming up, and it became viable enough at the time that it got noticed, and then everybody, most people with an internet connection, had full valid reason and cause to stream video for hours upon hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
At that point,
Which uses the same amount of bandwidth they're already paying for.
right,
That
but
you're already paying for as well.
at that point, that forces infrastructure upgrades. That has to,
Sure.
because eventually, like, if you're a smaller competitor or a smaller ISP providing internet, and you only have a very limited scope, and all of your fucking customers are eating it up and complaining at you
Right,
all day
right.
long, like, they go out of business. Or
Well, and like so,
like that's,
just as the definition stands too, because like now we're getting closer into the more Republican ideal of the idea of like, well, this keeps business. We need to get rid of net neutrality because the
Right.
Netflix has to pay ISPs more money, so the ISPs like small ones.
Right.
We're talking about small ISPs like Grande Communications,
right.
which has its own actual infrastructure.
Or Suddenlink, like what I use.
But
Like,
Suddenlink might just also just be buying and leasing AT&T lines.
maybe.
I mean, that's what I noticed at AT&T
Yeah.
when I was working
But-
for AT&T in the NOC. Is like the Ajit is literally talking about these very small ISPs, like the little rural areas. Like, no, those guys. What those guys are actually doing is just buying the fucking same bandwidth from a big ISP
Right.
and then
It's-
reselling it for more money. So, but
It's the Pixies version of our rail line. Like, you just rented occasional space on the tracks that already exist.
right.
Now, the trouble is, the reason why people are concerned it is valid. It's just not valid in the, because, like, think about it. The first, like, Verizon or Comcast or Time Warner or whoever that says, here's the new service packages. If you want, like, to get to actual, like, if you want Reddit or you want YouTube or you want this or that, you have to buy up to these packages. Like, it's not going to happen that way. The first motherfuckers that do that, it will set off a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Nobody would put up with that.
And I would say the
yeah.
exact opposite, because I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think someone could very feasibly say, if you want access to Facebook, I'll give you a $10 a month internet plan. And
Sure.
But I'll block everything else from you.
Right.
Right, but
And that's the problem.
Right.
okay, and
Right.
but
You shouldn't be able to
what-
control what a customer has access to.
that's
Right,
that's correct. Like that's a
right,
concern. But
right.
what
'Cause,
what I
the-
think we're more likely to see initially is less like that concept of actually like just straight up blockages based on how much you pay, but rather these larger companies are going to fight tooth and nail not to upgrade the lines,
No,
not
I-
to
I'm
increase the infrastructure,
That's
not to.
I'm not worried,
do any of
I'm not
that,
worried
like-
about infrastructure. Infrastructure is going to grow because you have to. The way we're going with bandwidth is just going to get bigger and bigger. You have to build those pipes longer. the thing that I think is going to be the bigger problem is who controls what you have access to. And Verizon, if they have any kind of, if they have their own news network, they're going to make sure that their news gets priority over anybody else's news.
Sure.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, priority one thing. Outright, like, you can't go to this news site or that news site because we no longer allow traffic to and from that DNS.
But they
Like, I swear to God, the first ones to do that. That's like being
I
the
don't think
first
so.
country to
Yeah.
launch the nuke.
Well,
I don't think so. I don't think people. I think people are passive if they won't care. As long as they get what they want.
Adji literally used that as an argument against net neutrality because he said that that itself is actually still legal under Obama level net neutrality guidelines. Like
Right, but why don't they do it?
from 2015? Because he said that consumers reacted so negatively to it that they would never do it. So they would not do that.
Right.
But they would control priority access.
They would control priority access.
That's
yeah,
the thing
not
that
charging too much.
The fast lane concept.
But the fast lane concept just leads into the slippery slope of
Yeah.
eventually allowing
Of
the ISPs,
Chinese internet.
to Chinese internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is literally blocking off access entirely. And infrastructure, and the funny thing about infrastructure too is like, okay, so I think Adam does have a really good point about this, is that, when you do have to force bandwidth, it's like, and you're just Spectrum, or
Yeah.
you're just Comcast, fuck you, consumer. Like
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
Right,
where, like,
which is going to be
my
cheaper.
my shit does not work. And they say, well, what do you want to do? It's like, well, I'd like to cancel. And it's like, all right, well, it's going to take you 6 hours to cancel. Hold, please. Like, that's something we saw
and-
while net neutrality was a thing.
And who are you going to go to?
Yeah, and who are you going to go to? And so
Yeah.
they say instead, like, well, I'm sorry, you're supposed to get, you're paying for a 100 meg connection, but you're getting 12. Like, it's really busy today, and that's already also happened. So like, that's a concern,
Right.
Because net neutrality has forced some people with competition. It's hairy and stupid, and there was no reason to get rid of it. And we'll see when the lawsuits come through.
Oh,
because
there'll be many of them.
there's already many of them. Many states, at least 15 that I saw, are suing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be probably an injunction because, come on.
Well, Netflix and Apple and all those guys are like, no, because we want our customers to have access to our content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the fight's going to be. It's going to be content providers versus ISPs.
Yeah, but
And ISPs need to
I don't
lose.
think it's going to be
Yes,
the
yes.
immediate like shitstorm crackdown of
No, it'll take,
No,
it'll
of
take
course.
time.
whatever.
Yeah, it'll-
That's
6 months at least.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think what needs to happen is Congress, unfortunately, needs to be involved in this and say the internet is a public utility.
Mhm.
Because it is a public utility.
That is literally, I mean,
that was kind of the core thing
That
that,
was
got
net-
gutted.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
but they're saying no, now it's
Class
back to
1.
Class
Title
1.
1, yeah, sorry.
No, it's a public utility.
It absolutely
needs
is.
to be regulated as such.
If you cannot live a life in the United States right now without the internet,
Yeah, you're living in a mountain and you're
Right.
next to Ted Kaczynski.
right,
Like,
right.
there hasn't been. I mean, since I got out of high school, there hasn't been a priority higher than the internet
Yeah.
than other than electricity itself. Like,
yeah, in
And
order to make
water.
the internet work.
I will leave.
Yeah.
I'll leave water and gas off for
Yeah.
months.
I'll freeze to
As
death
long
and
as-
poop in a bucket. I just
It's
need
like
the
watching Netflix, yeah.
internet.
But
Yeah. yeah.
or if you work on the fucking internet, like I spent the last 5 years doing,
Right.
like there was literally no way I could function at my jobs without it.
Yeah.
That is
Well, even common denominator, like, go try to find a job right now that pays more than fast food
right.
that you can walk into a place and drop your resume on. That shit does not really exist. I mean, it is there in some ways,
Yeah.
like you can do that, but
You
do
bring-
we want people doing that? You're gonna
Right.
choke the people that you want to see because they want.
If
And,
you
and then now it's the tiers of humans who are able to the hierarchy of people who are like can afford to get the special Comcast.
Well, that-
I want to be able to go to LinkedIn or
Well,
whatever.
then what job are you offering them? And then do they have email their job or not?
Right.
Or how do they do their job?
And that job's going to charge more because they're trying to get a better footprints in the market. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine if Photodex, for example, had to deal with sending ISPs more money in order for their traffic to come through? Because like with Google, you're just paying for ads. You're not saying Google, please, here's an extra $20. Don't forget us entirely. You know, whatever. This is that. Anyway, let's take a break. Yeah, we'll come back after this.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break.
That's a joke.
Of course. Yeah.
My old soul shoe tripping on his deep groove. And the nights knew what I feel and what a nice move.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hey! Segment 2. It's the Double Deuce.
It's the Tumble Deuce.
The Tumble Deuce. Yeah, we just had some Tumble 22, some of the best chicken in the entire fucking world.
Yeah, that stuff is so good.
It is.
Thanks,
really good.
Tumble 22.
Tumble 22. You guys are my biological father.
The results are in.
The results are in. And you're not going to like it, Dad.
Next and Maury.
So what we're going to talk about in segment 2, I know that we have Star Wars coming up in segment 3 to talk about. In segment 2...
Taxes? I don't know. No.
Was it the taxes? Was it the... We already talked about net neutrality, so we was already talking about something kind of serious. The rain's coming down pretty hard now, too.
I think we forgot already. That's the power of alcohol.
Good. Excellent.
I can rant about some stuff. I have things to rant about.
Oh, I was thinking about the sexual assault stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
do that.
No, let's hear your rants. Tell me your rants.
Is it about sexual assault stuff?
Not yet.
Any minute now.
But it can
I'm waiting for the phone call. Right.
802-359-7468. 802-359-SHOT.
No, I too. These are not important things at all. These are white people problems.
My favorite.
Top of the list of white people problems.
It's a podcast, so yes.
Yeah. That's true. If you're listening to this, you are part of the white people problems. You have not any problems, but yeah, you don't have any problems. You're listening to the podcast.
Right.
You're
right.
fine. You have $1,000 phone in your pocket. You're fine.
right.
So Amazon and Google fighting.
Yes.
So I had the Fire TV as my device of choice for streaming media. I love it. It's a great device. But as of January 1st, Google is pulling YouTube support from it. Wait.
Yes. Yeah, because Amazon pulled...
Oh, from Amazon? From the Fire Stick?
For the Fire TV, yeah.
I was like, Google can't really pull YouTube support. They own YouTube.
No, they're pulling... Yeah, they're cutting off all access to YouTube through the app and everything.
Amazon was first, though, right?
What do you mean?
Amazon pulled something from Chromecast. I think they pulled Amazon...
Oh, they stopped selling Chromecast.
They stopped selling Chromecast.
Yeah.
Which I think is
They're going to start doing it again, though. That was announced this week.
Good. Yeah, they're going to start...
I think that's a bigger dick move.
Well, Amazon did it to Google and to Apple.
Yeah.
Apple capitulated eventually, and I think starting next year they're going to start having Prime available on
Apple TVs.
TV,
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming means they're going to start selling Apple TVs through Amazon again.
Right.
I'm assuming the same kind of thing will happen with Chromecast. I hope.
Right.
But it's just dumb that they're fighting over it. It's just so stupid.
It's super stupid. This is not the time for that kind of thing.
Whole team is babies.
Yeah.
The whole team is babies.
But my other overarching thing. So in the past couple of weeks, I've been splurging on myself, and I've been redoing my entire entertainment center, new TV, stereo, all that kind of shit. And my hope had always been to have one device I can use to do most of my things with. I was always happy with the Fire TV.
Yeah.
So last year, I bought a PlayStation 4 with the intent of that would be my one device because it has all the streaming options.
And Bluetooth. And
it has all that stuff on it.
Blu-ray, excuse me.
Except, I discovered, much to my chagrin, now that I have a 4K TV, PlayStation does not support 4K.
What? When? What?
It never has.
Huh.
The PlayStation 4 Pro supports 4K for their game playback only, but they don't support 4K streaming through YouTube or through Amazon or through Apple, whatever other things you're talking, Hulu. And it's just so fucking stupid. What's even more stupid is that Sony, once again, in their infinite fucking wisdom, because they're fucking retards, they don't allow you to play Ultra HD discs on PlayStation. Xbox does, but Sony invented the fucking format, and they don't even support it.
Yeah, they're not just going to give it to you. They got to make money somehow.
Even if you buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, $500 fucking dollars, you still can't play an Ultra 4K Blu-ray disc. You have to buy a Blu-ray player for that.
Why?
Because they're fucking retards.
Sony. When have they ever made a good decision ever in their history?
Letting Marvel borrow Spider-Man was probably smart.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's end of list.
Yes, end of list.
Right.
I mean, as far as like their hardware, like they tried a lot, and then eventually they just sort of bumbled through life.
This piece of corn and this poop is almost totally inedible.
It mystifies me that the company who invented the damn format doesn't even support half the options for that format.
Gotta cut them costs.
But no, they don't, because they're making two devices.
Yeah.
And one of them's not selling because no one actually buys standalone fucking Blu-ray players anymore. Sorry. Old man rant.
Sure. Good old man rant.
No, but the whole idea, why is it so difficult to have one device that does everything? I'll pay $500 for one thing if it does all the things, but no one wants to do it.
Because of non-compete agreements?
Except, apparently, Xbox apparently does everything, so I'm going to buy an Xbox.
Well, they're also little with ads. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, it really just comes down to who's willing to get paid to be... I mean, it's a net neutrality thing. It's all related to this. If you allow consumer businesses that sell things to consumers, to be able to run the way that they want without any kind of regulation. They're going to do everything they can to make it as fucking hard as possible for anyone else who has any kind of
product,
competing product to be able to live in that same environment or even live on their own fucking platform.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like this YouTube thing with Amazon and Amazon not selling Chromecasts. Like, fuck off. Like they're still not selling. They are not selling the Home Minis, which I bought 2 of them, and they're adorable little devices. The Google Home Mini. But they're not selling them like at all. Like before, if you wanted to buy like a Pixel or a Nexus or even Chromecast, they're like Amazon would just charge you an extra $20 because they're trying to discourage you, but they know they have to sell these things because people fucking want them.
They're the Walmart of the internet.
Because they're the Walmart of the fucking internet.
It was really dumb with that. Amazon now, with Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world.
Yeah.
He's not hurting for cash.
Yeah.
And Amazon has a long track record of failing to make any money on any device they try to manufacture themselves.
Yes.
So why fight?
Why fight?
Because you've always lost money on all your products.
Right.
But you sell them because they are lost leaders to get people in your ecosystem that then they use to buy your stuff.
Right.
It's why you do it that way.
Right.
Yeah, you might erode some of your market share by having a competing device, but not that much. And you probably got that person paying for Prime anyway, so you've already got people in
Right.
there.
Right.
Like, you're not hurting for cash by not selling a mildly competitive product in one ultra small sliver of your market share.
Right.
I wonder if it's like if they look at it, if they look at themselves like, but we're always up against Google. Like we want to be bigger than Google. We want to be the biggest. Like
Sure.
Isn't that how they all kind of like?
Yeah. Hubris.
Yeah, I just don't know if
Yeah.
that's actually the case. Like if that's the core of the topic of any, like the last meeting, was the big guy going, no, we have to remain focused on fucking ignoring those guys and getting bigger than them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think
I just can't believe it.
It's
Like,
it's pretty normal in business practices though. Like the reason McCafe is a thing, for example, the reason McCafe is a thing is because McDonald's was losing their Starbucks money.
Yeah.
Like Starbucks was just growing. Subway was growing faster than anyone ever expected. There's still Arby's.
I still like how Dunkin' Donuts is like, no, we've been making coffee a long time. People still like it.
Yeah, they don't care.
You want to build a Starbucks next door? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. But McDonald's has never really been known for their coffee,
Yeah.
So McCafe pops up as a way of like, and that was definitely some business meeting, or probably many business meetings were like,
And actually,
what
not
do
a bad,
we
not
what
a
do we
bad
do?
idea, 'cause
Oh,
actually-
yeah, of course.
What do we do to crush these guys?
well, not crush, but
Compete.
compete.
Yeah,
Because they know they have I would say good. They have a famous and popular
Yes.
breakfast offering.
Yes.
So yeah, invest in that one more piece that might get someone to come to your. Someone can't go to Starbucks and get an egg muffin.
Right.
But if you have a good coffee, they might come to you and get an egg muffin and a good
You can
coffee.
get a kale croissant though,
Yeah, but it's not the same fucking thing as a McGriddle
or a
for fuck's sake.
scone. Yeah,
Thank God.
yeah. Fuck
Give
off.
me some
Starbucks.
hotcakes any day.
Man, McGriddles. So many stories.
So many regrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, to your point, like for Amazon, like, yeah, do what you did before. Charge $10 more.
Yeah.
You'll make your money back.
You're going to make your money back. Yeah.
In fact, that'll make your
they'll wind up making,
to make you more money.
one of the things that I recognize, like back in the Photodex days when we had these really smart shipping people who were trying to make the most money or whatever, so finding out that it was actually cheaper to ship to China and then to ship to California from Texas, some fucking reason. Like,
Slowest boat.
well, even no, it's like the same speed.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Once it hits China, it ain't the same speed getting back.
That's
I've
what-
ordered
that's
lots
what-
of shit.
That's
from
what
China.
I'm saying though. Is like ordering shit from China versus ordering shit like airsoft equipment on China goes on a big boat, sure. But like there's something about like it just being so mass produced and going to a place where it's so fucking cheaper to be able to ship that it's like just faster to fly a plane to China, drop it off, and then fly it back to California than it is to fly straight to California. And it never made any fucking sense to me. But it does because that's just the way business works now. And so Amazon is probably making money off the fact that it has a huge stock, a collection, inventory of Chromecasts that they're even charging an extra $10 for. They're probably making $15 off of that some fucking how. I don't know how much they'd actually buy from Google. I don't see Google taking a huge loss on it, but like that's the way your margins have to work if you're living in this universe where you can't make a better product than the fucking Chromecast. It's an excellent product.
Yeah.
You know, the whole Mini blows the fucking Echo out of the water. And
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
far fucking more interesting.
But we talked about it already. Like, I have Google Home now throughout
Yeah.
the house. Like,
Yeah.
we have minis in every fucking room, and then the main one in the living room,
yeah.
kitchen area. We got the Alexa first.
Yeah.
Just to try it out, and then like it was fine. Like
It's
it did
fine.
it did some cool stuff, but then we realized, like both
toy.
both Jesse and I realized, like, we buy shit from Amazon, sure, but like I can't make it play a playlist because I don't buy
Yeah.
music from fucking Amazon.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
but I have all mine on Google Play. It's just we shipped that motherfucker right back and
Yeah.
just replaced it with the Google stuff. And for our needs, it works so much better because
Yeah.
it can wrangle with our accounts and
Mhm.
it can access the shit with just what we named it. You
Right,
know, it's
right,
much
right.
more convenient.
It's in the ecosystem too.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that was a big reason why I was like, let's get some Google Home Minis. Actually, Andrea was the one that came to me first. My wife came to me and was like, we should get some Google Home Minis. They're really cute.
And they're only $30
And they're only
right now.
$30. It's like, all right, so I got two, you know, and it's just funny looking at it and saying like, Google, play Drunkcast Live podcast, does it? Like, you know, I just thought Echo was really smart. Like, no, it's just already in their in their ecosystem. They already know.
Right.
So one thing you can do with that, you can't do with the Echo specifically, is you can say, Google, tell me about my day. And it'll tell you the weather, it'll tell you some of the news, and it'll tell you what your calendar looks like for the day because it's already fucking attached to it because Google is so fucking huge.
And Alexa can do that. But
Can do that, but
you have to jump through a couple hoops.
I didn't have to do shit.
But
I
there
just
were-
like give it an account. And it's
Well,
like,
you guys are also both heavily invested in Android already, so
of course.
for you guys, it's exceptionally easy for you to go.
I think it'd be
Time my account.
just as easy for you to set up this thing than it would be for you as an Apple user.
No. I own a Mac and I have an iPhone. I'm not an Apple user.
Okay, sure, fine.
I'm
Okay, that's fine.
not
That's
a
fair.
fanboy by any means.
No. Well, I didn't say
You
fanboy.
ain't waiting in line.
You did protest too much right then, but yes. But I think it'd be easier to set it up because it's just the process is a whole lot easier. You know, like
Yeah. Wait, you've never used an Apple product, have you?
well, I mean, an Echo in comparison to Google Play or Google Home or whatever. But
No, I'm just laughing because Apple is not as easy as they claim it is.
no, of course not. No.
Not by any means.
Nor does it just always work.
No, it does not.
You can't.
And I have proven Macs crash on more than one occasion. Because they do. Because they're a computer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can never stop entropy, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the Google Home. I mean, I again, like, if we get into the home automation concept,
Sure.
it can fuck right off. But
Yeah.
it is pretty nice. And they lacked some features that Amazon or Alexa had long before Google did. But like like firmware updates come out, and like so now you can like broadcast across
Yeah.
the different ones. So,
Broadcasting thing's kind of fun.
yeah,
Like intercom style.
yeah,
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
I
It'll
think,
record if you actually just say something that's not a command. It will broadcast what you said to the
Oh, that's kind of cool.
to any
Yeah,
other connected
yeah.
home minis. But there's also like separate ones. Like someone when Kiddo's with us, he's probably in his room playing games, and he has a mini in his. So like Jesse doesn't have to like scream at him.
yeah.
She can just okay Google broadcast. It's dinner time, and
Right.
it'll actually do a pre-recorded like.
Alexa does that too.
Yeah, but like I said, Alexa had it before.
Yeah.
But now,
Right.
like we have it now, and that was a really big boon.
And well, the process for the Alexa too was like set up your phone because it's going off the phones.
Yeah.
If you have multiple, I've never had multiple Alexas or Echoes or whatever on the house to figure this out. But it was like set up your phone so you could talk over the phone. So if my phone's downstairs, etc., but you have to set it up. And I was like, no, there's already two. Like Google's like, I see there's another one here. I don't even have to talk to it. Like I just know it's already there because we're best friends. And so like
That's cool.
out the box, plugged it in, just did a couple things on the phone.
Because
And
we've been knuckleheads since small time.
the second one said, hey, you already did voice commands for the first one, so I'm just going to ship the voice commands so they know who you are.
That's cool.
Amazon will also, Google will also allow Android to do voice commands so they know separate people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Um,
actually set it in the app.
Yeah. And then, but so the conversation was completely over, and then I was just like, hey, broadcast this, and it's like this. Like, oh, fucking easy. Like,
Nice.
no crazy conversation. Like, it's all because Google just has that shit in lockdown
Yeah.
so fucking easily.
But what I like is like Jesse made some settings changes on her end, and I didn't.
Mhm.
So like every time I talked to it, it was the original voice, and every time she talked to it, it was a different.
Oh,
voice.
cool. Okay.
The way it answers, I some
Yeah.
differentiation between knowing There's different people doing the command. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Let's take another break. Let's come back and let's talk Star Wars. Bye-bye.
Dusty bricks, bitters, mix, bitter cats, split bricks.
Half of you seems to agree with that.
How'd you kid?
Slowly sewing my name on the quilt. Great. Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break.
Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Hey.
Segment 3 is Fighting 3. We're still hanging out at Don's Depot, still hanging out with Dylan, still hanging out with Adam. It's time to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, I've always been a pretty anti-spoiler person, but in my old age, I guess, or whatever that means. And I don't know, I don't want anything spoiled for me unless I ask for it, but I'm actually asking both of you to spoil the movie for me. To give us a brief rundown of the plots
Well, I think the thing of that,
and what you have problems with.
I think that's the thing. I think the things I have problems with aren't necessarily spoilers. They're just really dumb things that happen in the movie.
Okay, sure, good. Well, I'm saying if it takes the burden off of you specifically, so you can
I don't
talk about it unfettered.
I think we have a real potential to actually avoid spoiling anything.
Okay.
Because again, mulling it over, and I only saw it today.
So okay, but consider this just real quick. Sorry to interrupt, but consider this real quick. We're talking about as we're presenting this segment as an official. As an official, hey, let's have a conversation about it. It makes sense through the context of everything to give a quick rundown of what happens.
But before we do that, I'm going to say Adam and I both walk out with the exact same feelings of,
That's not.
was that not a good movie?
Sure,
Right.
sure. I'm trying to present this like you'd see it maybe on YouTube. You start off with a quick synopsis, and then they say, "What do you think about the movie?" And you guys both say, "It stinks."
All right, what's the actual plot? There really isn't one.
Well, okay, this is the Empire of the new trilogy.
Episode 8.
Yeah, Episode 8. Therefore, in Star Wars tradition, you can't expect a whole lot of closure because it's the middle of an ongoing story.
Okay.
It picks up immediately after the first one ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 4 or 5 subplots that kind of intertwine a little bit.
Okay.
First one is Rey's story. She meets up with Luke, and
Which we saw at the very end of the
very
episode.
end. Very end.
It literally picks up right
Yeah.
there.
And so her story there is, hey, I'm here to be trained, and he just goes, no,
Okay.
I'm not doing that anymore.
He's cagey and disillusioned and old, and he came here to die.
And hermited, yeah.
And he doesn't
Like
want
an unfunny version of Yoda.
Yeah,
Yoda.
he doesn't think
Yoda
he
does show up though, by the way,
As a globy, as a ghost?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
as a complete caricature. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
So spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's
Right.
I'm saying,
But so the Luke and Rey story. So Rey's on the island and trying to convince Luke to train her.
Right.
He does a couple little things like, hey, reach out with the Force, blah blah blah.
Right. He teaches her about the Force in one day.
Well, yeah.
There's a
and-
Force
okay.
cave that she deals with
Of course.
That's representative of the dark side.
which isn't really even very good Force cave because she didn't really confront anything. She just
Okay.
sees herself in the mirror basically.
Which
Yeah.
I guess is the metaphor of the dark side is wherever
It's
you
just
go,
you,
you're
you
gonna
are.
find yourself. So you just need to think about yourself. So selfishness.
Okay.
Whatever.
Plato's
On the island there are puppets. The Pog thingy.
Porg.
The Porg thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing that was actually good about that is Chewbacca actually cooked a couple of them up. Like, cooked them on a spit.
Yeah.
He's about to eat them, and then when the Porgs does the big doughy eye, he goes, don't eat me, don't eat me. Like, so Chewbacca goes, fuck it, I guess I won't eat you because you're too cute or some shit.
Yeah, shit,
Right.
that's a
And
throwback
then
to Ewok Village.
And then those damn little Porgs,
Right.
infest the Millennium Falcon, and they live there for now.
So they're there for the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
they don't play any kind of meaningful role.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're
Thankfully, they don't play any meaningful role. They're just there for some cheap, dumb laugh.
yeah.
Although I
at
really wish
least-
Chewbacca had eaten the fucking thing.
At least like Chekhov's gun, right? Like you don't need to have another fucking. At least Jar Jar had a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
No, these things.
He was
all,
principal to something.
Yeah. No. All those things do is they get in Chewbacca's way.
Yeah.
And they
also-
fly around like you get stuck in the window of the Millennium Falcon while he's doing maneuvers.
and they're
on
not
shores.
and they're not ultimately they're not characters, they're new Star Wars creatures.
The toys,
Like
yeah.
they don't
They're toys.
yeah, they don't have speaking roles. They just sort of scream when everyone else is screaming and everyone goes, haha, cute.
They're minions.
It's stupid.
Yeah, they're minions.
Yeah.
So they're
Meanwhile,
not as bad as you would hope, but they're still pretty annoying.
They're still pretty.
Um,
okay.
during the course of all of this, Rey starts being able to like stare off into space
Yeah.
while Kylo also stares off into space, and they see each other and can talk.
They have
Okay.
a psychic connection to each other. They
Yeah.
can
Okay.
talk
okay.
to the Force.
And then moderately interesting, although it would have been exceptional if one of those times, like, she turns around and she sees him and he looks up at her from the toilet he's sitting on.
Well, he
like-
was shirtless that one time.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been clever, but of course they can't be clever.
Which means they're brother sister, right?
That is a spoiler I could give you.
Did you say yes or no? It's already spoiler time.
No, they are not.
No.
related
What
at
the
all.
fuck? That's the only way that would make sense canonically.
They're not.
That's the one part of the movie that I like. One complete reveal in the movie that I really actually liked
Okay.
was when you find out about that.
Although it's probably a lie.
It has to be a lie.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure they're not brother and sister. Because you think, I'm pretty sure Leia would know she'd shed at two crotch fruit. You know.
Well,
Right.
sure.
There's been no allusion to
But-
her being related in any capacity to.
But-
Wait. So that means that. Wait. So, okay.
My guess is
Wait, who's Ray's kid then? Or who's
No,
Ray's parent?
They did not. Okay, so the lie, I think it's a lie, is Kylo Ren. So part of him like tempting her in their psychic talks is, I know who your dad is. I know who your parents are.
Right.
And she says, no, you don't. He goes, you've always known they're just trash. They're just pieces of shit. They're
Yeah.
nobody. You're
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that was a lie because at the time he's trying to convince her to join him.
Yeah.
So lie,
Okay.
make her
It's
feel
possible.
shitty about herself.
I
okay.
am
I'm still willing to
actually.
bet Luke Skywalker's still her dad. That's my money. It's still on there. But they don't talk about that at all.
Okay.
Then why does she have a British accent? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Because she was raised in Jakku.
I really liked the concept that no, she's not directly tied to any of it. This is just what's happening. But like her parents were garbage that literally abandoned
Sure,
her and
sure.
died
Yep.
and got buried unceremoniously.
And
But
in the
we've
desert.
already established she can have a psychic link with another
Yeah.
Jedi
No,
or Darth.
it was later established that the
Snoke.
big Snoke.
So
Snoke was causing that to
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
he was causing that in two parts. One part was the Sith Jedi relationship. Whenever there's one, there's always another balance of the Force.
Right.
So the Kylo Ren being as powerful as he is, somewhere in the universe there's a counterbalance to him, which is Rey.
Okay.
As far as just being naturally that powerful with the Force.
Right.
Snoke then does intervene to manipulate them. So he helps bridge the psychic.
That's
connection.
fine. Okay, that's fine.
But as far as the parenting issue, we know from the first Force Awakens, there's a scene where parents drop her off on the planet with the old guy.
Mhm.
So maybe they were a piece of shit, maybe they weren't. But I'm still kind of. I would like it to be that they were just nobodies, but I don't believe that they would do that because that doesn't seem.
I really
It doesn't fit with what they've already done so far with this piece of shit of a movie. So
Right.
okay.
it's going to be revealed as somebody. She
Now-
has to be somebody important instead of somebody who's not important.
Right.
It'd be better if she weren't important. That would be great. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
So
No. Meanwhile, Poe is
fucking Poe
is leading a initially solitary mission against a fleet of Star Destroyers and a dreadnought, like some gigantic thing. that-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and this is where like the humor part begins at the very start. And again, like I said before, but I'll say it on the show. There was a lot of quips and witticisms and like humor injected into the dialogue
Yeah.
for pretty much everybody, but it was so tritely presented that
A
it's
lot
like
of it was.
it's like the kind of humor or quips you'd hear in a CW television show.
Right.
It's funny that it's there, I guess,
Right.
but it's not on its face particularly funny.
Right.
It's just, we're trying to breathe life into these dull ass characters. Well, they didn't.
Yeah. Failure.
Yeah, see, my Poe was a character who was actually supposed to die originally in the first movie, way early on, but they decided making the film.
Well, the fandom-
let's not kill him. Let's bring him back.
Yeah,
So
and-
he's even more shoehorned in there now because he was supposed to be dead to begin with.
Right.
Sure.
Now he's the hero.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
The fandom. So anyway, it was actually a big ruse. They did something else, and then they were trying to escort all these bombers in to blow up the dreadnought because they had a chance to get the dreadnought. And Leia's like, "Oh shit went south. We're gonna pull out," and he refuses, and he gets It gets all of the
Everyone
bombers
killed,
but one bomber got to actually drop off the payload and destroy a dreadnought.
Okay,
So
that's normal. That's happened a lot in the series.
So beginning of the show, everyone's very, very upset with Poe in the leadership of the rebellion.
Right.
And he's alive because all the Templarinas already shipped him and Finn, and they could give a shit about any of the rest of the story as long as he hooks up with Finn.
Right.
Somewhere down the line,
but-
they'll be happy. That's all they want. Blah blah blah. Which is very much how they look at the world.
That's not happening.
Sure,
Because
that's-
Finn is a love interest that he doesn't know about.
Okay. He has a love interest he doesn't know about.
Yeah. So.
Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, diversity, inclusion.
Oh yeah. This is the
Um,
most social justice movie I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
and
It's inclusive of all.
And it's like, look, I'm fine with that, but what I didn't like is and what drove me nuts is, again, it's a technical issue. It's the writing itself. It's the presentation
Yeah.
of these concepts,
Yes,
opinions, and ideas. They are so ham-fisted
Mm-hmm.
and lack so much artistry and integrity in the delivery as to just be a blog. Like it's
Right.
it's so heavy-handed
Yeah. It's like
in parts.
it's completely fine. Like characters in the Star Wars universe, they can be whatever they want. They can be black, white, brown, green, alien, not alien. It doesn't matter.
Right.
They're characters, but there's this twinges the way they've written these things where they're reminding you that this is something special.
Right.
Yeah, we're glad you're in college.
Yeah.
You know,
Here's a pamphlet.
right. So
it really does feel kind of this heavy-handed. Yeah, Adam's right.
on the Leia side of things, so they're fleeing after that abortion of the battle, but they did take a dreadnought down, so props to them. And so they're fleeing, and then boom, out of the blue, it's the First Order again. And they're like, they tracked us through hyperspace. You can't track anyone through hyperspace, but they did.
Except for in Rogue One.
And they're well, here they are a long time later.
Yeah.
And they got tracked through hyperspace. And they're like, that's impossible. No, you can't track anyone through hyperspace. But they did. How did they do that? And so they determined only, well, like Snoke's ship's there too.
Okay.
It's like big motherfucker. And so Finn and Asian girl hatch a plot since Poe is grounded and demoted because of his hijinks.
Taking down a
Leia,
dreadnought.
yeah, with
Because Luke was also demoted after everyone on every other squad died except
Right.
for him. So.
So
even by the Womp
Let's
Rats.
back up a little bit. So, yeah, they can track him through hyperspace, and of course, Finn knows this. Even though Finn is the shittiest character, because he was introduced as, I was a guy who's just gone to Stormtrooper school for the first time,
Yeah. Stormtrooper.
but I spent my entire existence cleaning up, toilets on
Yeah, I was
Starkiller
mopping
base.
floors.
But now he knows the technical schematics of every Imperial cruiser design known to man.
Right. It never made any sense because he was there shooting up that village in Force Awakens.
Well, he didn't shoot them up.
Yeah,
Well,
he-
he was supposed to be there shooting
Yeah,
them up. He
yeah.
just didn't.
And that
The
was his
point
first. That was
you
his
don't
first
get-
mission as a stormtrooper.
Yeah, you don't give the janitor the gun and
Yeah.
bring him along, do
but,
you?
But
Like-
separately from that, he now knows the schematics of every Imperial class warship to the T, including knowing how they track them from hyperspace.
Yeah.
Which here's how dumb this fucking thing is. They only one ship at a time will track it, but if they blow the shit up, well, the other ships can track it. Well, it's fine. So, but why would only one ship do the tracking and then transmit the data when they all have the capacity to just? And they even say they all can do it, but the way they do it is one does it, and then they tell the others where to
And
go.
so,
Why don't you just track together?
The
if
plan-
you're just one and one, you're
Yeah,
not tracking
right.
the original
But-
one. You're tracking the second one that's following the first one.
And they acknowledge if you blow up the first one, you have 6 minutes until the other ships turn on their tracking systems.
So what they do instead, what they want to do instead, is they want to invade the largest, most secure ship, of course, with a small crack team of morons.
2 people. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Finn.
to just disable the tracker without getting noticed, and
Yeah.
then get off, so that the remainder of the rebellion can fly off, and then they won't get tracked through hyperspace because the tracker's down. And by the
Long
time they
enough.
notice and get the tracker back online, they could have hyperspaced again.
Right.
Except they're running out of fuel, so they're thus running out of time.
Fuel?
Yes, they have
Oh,
fuel.
yeah.
When's fuel ever been a problem in the Star Wars
Oh,
universe?
like
time.
we were saying before the show, they break every fucking rule they have.
Right.
Oh,
Here's
God.
another rule they broke. At one point, the bridge of their main cruiser during the battle gets exploded, and Leia and Akbar and all those guys on there
Not
are
Akbar, but yeah.
No, Akbar. yeah.
They said Admiral Akbar
Yeah.
gone.
All shot into space.
Wait,
Except-
Wait, I
except
thought it was a different Mon Calamari.
They literally
that was Rogue
said-
One. That was Rogue
they
One. I'm
literally
sorry.
said Akbar.
Mon
Yeah.
Calamari.
Yeah,
is
Mon
the-
Calamari. Yeah.
But so now Leah's in space, freezing to death, and of course because we know she died, we all assume this is her death scene. No,
No, her hand
she
moves.
force flies herself back
Yeah.
into the ship.
Oh, Jesus fucking
and
Christ.
she goes.
All right, we're out of time. Let's go
Right.
ahead and take a break and come back and talk about anything else.
There's so much more wrong we can talk about.
Yeah,
It goes on.
it goes
Yes.
on.
It-
Yeah, at this point-
I'll listen to it during the break.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes into the movie at this point, honestly.
yeah.
There's 2 hours, 3 minutes left.
All right, bye.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break.
It's like miniaturized Death Star technology. It'll cut through this door like paper.
And the night's new, what a feeling, what a nice mood. A bam, boom, rock, we're here to rock you. It's like, damn,
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Said before, it's the toe segment.
There's only a half hour left in the movie, man.
Sounds like it. Been hanging out here listening to how awful this new Star Wars movie sounds. Did I say awful? I mean awful. 15 minutes on the clock. What did we miss this week that had nothing to do with any of that?
Wow.
Crypto's still surging like crazy and being as volatile as normal, and
It is,
everybody
it is.
should stay away from it forever.
Well, I don't know about that exactly. What I'd say, like, if you're interested, what was the quote? Not Jimmy Buffett, but Charles Buffett. What was the name of the only good Buffett?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. The
Yeah.
quote is, if your shoeshine boy tells you to buy a stock, it's time to sell that stock. I was listening to NPR, and they're talking about, what is Bitcoin? I finally heard this on NPR, like on the drive time,
Stop it.
8:45, whatever. What is Bitcoin? How do we explain Bitcoin? And I always get frustrated by the way people explain Bitcoin, because I feel like it should be so much more simple than this. Because you can just use the words gold and mountain and less gold at the bottom of the mountain and just say, fine, because you can use gold as a currency instead of commodities, because that's where it gets murky, whatever. But the best thing that's happening right now, if you're interested in any cryptocurrency right now, is to do any of the cryptocurrencies that people kind of barely know about that are interested in. Like Ripple has a good run.
Right.
Ethereum is
Ethereum's doing great.
doing fucking great.
Litecoin, baby.
Litecoin's doing
Litecoin's
great.
doing great. How much Litecoin do you have?
I have one, but I bought it at $20.
Yeah,
that's
it's
for like 300.
It's a 300, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up and I have 11 because I bought it at like
Damn.
$50.
Right.
And I looked up and I was going to get like $4,500 back, and I was like, capital gains, motherfucker. So I have to wait till June, and hopefully it's okay. But I bought Ripple at 20. I bought 1,500 Ripple at 25 cents, and it's around 80
It's
cents
80,
right now.
yeah.
And as soon as that motherfucker
Right.
hits $2,
Here's the only
I'll still
thing.
wait till
if
October.
If you're into it at all, and people are asking you questions all over the place, all you have to do is say, "Yes, you can buy $10 worth of insert cryptocurrency name here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Wilhelm, a good friend of our show and also friends of outside the universe, whatever, was texting me because he's like, I'm on Coinbase. Can I buy less than one Bitcoin? I was like, yeah, you can go up to 8 decimal places.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, interesting. I'm like, is it? I don't
Well,
I mean,
honestly, that's actually
how many pennies do you need of a thing? You know,
that is actually a thing, a current argument in the, at least in the Bitcoin community in general. It's like,
Yeah.
guys, we should just accept that we should stop making the common denomination
more than three
one,
sig divs.
one singular Bitcoin. Like, cut that down about 1,000 times. Make it, 0.00 this much.
Oh no.
No, but the only reason why is because when you translate that to USD, it's like, oh, it's $100 or whatever.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, like
Um,
what you said. What was the currency that always wants to be a dollar?
That's Dash.
Dash. And like, I like the concept of it. I think it's stupid.
I don't know why they want
It's a cryptocurrency that specifically is always trying to be exactly a dollar, no matter what it's worth. So, like, if it's always worth $1, okay,
The more you buy, the less it's worth.
right. That doesn't work with the same currency.
Potentially, unless the dollar value shoots up.
Yeah, but
So-
But if we're looking at currency
Yeah.
and how currency works, currency should never be any more insane than any other currency. So, like, the
Right.
idea of having 0.00001 Bitcoin, it's like, why don't you just round that up or round that down to 1.00 Bitcoin. I have 1.50 Bitcoin. I don't understand like fracturizing.
I understand that. I also understand why there are so many like 10,000th of a Bitcoin. Like is
It's
Satoshi-
eight tenths. As far as it
but
goes.
that's the very lowest possible
Nine-
number
yeah.
is called a Satoshi.
Yeah.
And like
That's kind of fanboyish too. I mean,
Nelly Furtado.
yeah, and it's in Nelly Furtado. Yeah.
the dude
Hell,
who made it
Satoshi.
up didn't name it that. Everybody else did.
Right, of course.
But it's accepted. It's fine. Whatever.
Right. It's fine. Yeah.
I know why there are so many like decimal places back. Why they did that.
Right.
It's a good idea for what they were trying to do.
Right.
The point is,
No other currency in the world does that though.
I know, but it also like the big failure that people seem to have, and the thing that everyone's focusing on, and why all of the cryptos are rising right now is because everybody cannot get past comparing its value with another currency.
That's how currencies work, though.
I know,
That's how all currencies work.
but
100% of currencies work on how much they are worth. They used to be the dollar,
Or
and
the
the Hong Kong dollar. Well, the tulip, yeah. And whether it was
No, it
like
still is the dollar.
we still have 30 years
the
before that's
euro.
100 years from ago.
also it was never a fucking currency. It's a fucking flower. It's a commodity.
Right.
Um,
Yes. But the difference between that and like one tulip is worth one tulip. How many tulips is worth $1? How many tulips worth in gold?
the concept is lost for Bitcoin. Period.
Okay.
Even in the majority of the community, the original intention is lost. There are other branches and there are other cryptos and altcoins and whatnot that still hold to the original idea,
Right.
wherein the comparison wasn't necessary.
Okay. It just doesn't seem like a currency then. It still feels like Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Nope.
I mean, because the purpose of it, all currencies are based off each other. And whatever the strongest currency is, the dollar, for example, which was the strongest currency for whatever, however many decades or whatever.
Well, the dollar still is the de facto for basically all banking.
Yeah.
The British pound sterling is still like the most valuable currency.
Okay.
Then the euro, and then the dollar. But the dollar is like the de facto for all banking is U.S. dollars.
Right.
Because we're assholes and we're American.
Because we're assholes American.
Like how all pilots have to be able to speak English.
Yes.
Right. And only one of them can be Christian or something. It's a joke. Just in case of
We have fun.
We have fun. Yeah, I know all the pilots in the world. But like and that's the point. If it's going to be a currency, it means that it's going to be traded against something else, and not traded for something else. In the sense, like it's looked at, traded, and said, I can get this many dollars for it, not by selling it, but by trading it. You know, and that's the one moment in time where we say like $17,000 is one Bitcoin. Or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
1924.
It broached 18,000 earlier
Which is
today.
fucking
I'm pretty sure it's down
It's
to
amazing.
17 something again.
How's Bitcoin Cash working? Because I think I have
God.
0.013.
Oh, it's
of
actually
that.
climbing. It's doing
It is also climbing and equally
It's like
volatile. It's in
1700,
the
I think, per day.
1700 range.
Can I ask you a question? If
You
I
can.
thank you. I can ask you 3 questions.
You can.
Okay. Third question is,
spirit animal.
what is if I were to have 100 Bitcoin by the time they split, how much Bitcoin Cash would I have? Would I also,
100 Bitcoin Cash.
so if I had, it was actually just like stocks. If I would have kept all my Bitcoin together, I would have 100 BTC and 100 BCH.
Yes.
Holy
The-
shit! What a great deal that would have been.
That's what happened. Not 100, but that's what happened for me. It's just like the way they settled the hard forks, because
Yeah.
this was like the first hard fork.
Yeah.
And there's been another one since then. I haven't even fucking.
I was
heard
told
of
to
it.
get the fuck out when the hard fork was coming.
I
That's
was-
the only reason I sold my shit, because I was like, I don't know what the hard fork's gonna look like. But the little bit of Bitcoin I had left, I sold and was like, you have a little bit more BCH, and it was like, and it's
Yeah.
worth $1,300. Like,
the way the wallets handled it was the hard fork has occurred. It is now live. There is now separate blockchains that represent one is
One of
the
the others,
continuing
Yeah.
Bitcoin core blockchain or whatever the
Right.
fucking the legacy one,
Right.
which was supposed to get on SegWit and is, but not for everyone. Who fucking cares? And then the other one is a new blockchain that was established that was Bitcoin Cash. And
Right,
then
okay.
the next hard fork that happened later, that happened more recently, was Bitcoin Gold, which I've heard fuck all about.
Okay.
since that happened because I think everyone was just like,
Well, it's
stop.
it's just free money at that point too.
Well, no, but
yeah,
the way the wallets handled it was upon this forkery,
right. As the prophecy
Um,
informed us.
your original address, your original wallet, your original thing with Bitcoin is still there. You get an equal amount of the new shit
Damn.
because we have to split the wallet. So
Yeah. What a good deal.
I wish I hadn't sold mine.
Yeah.
I made a couple $100.
Yeah.
Now I could have made several $1,000s.
Oh, I made a couple thousand. I could have made
Tens of thousands.
tens of thousands of dollars too. Hey,
Litecoin.
Litecoin. Yeah, Litecoin's doing good.
yeah, you should not have faith in Litecoin. They're doing great. And
Although
same with Ethereum.
the creator of Litecoin said recently, "Do not buy Litecoin right now," because it's mostly because Bitcoin's going crazy and it's on radio now. And
That's
I'm
what
sure
they're all doing, yeah.
some fucking drive time DJs who are like, "No, I'm buying Bitcoin." Like there are people who are mortgaging their houses to buy Bitcoin.
No,
Coinbase takes credit cards now.
Yeah.
that's why I bought mine.
On a credit card?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, that was back in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought,
They
I bought
hey,
bought mine on a credit card.
uh,
but I
no
got
matter-
cash from it.
Yeah.
no matter what
And
questions, no matter what questions you may have about cryptocurrency and the whole game, please do not mortgage your fucking house to get some.
Right.
Just be happy
Again,
with what you have.
if your Shushan boy says time to buy Bitcoin, time to sell Bitcoin. Let's take some shots. What are we toasting tonight, guys?
I think financial advice.
Financial advice. Yeah.
Better Star Wars movie.
Tax plan.
I'm going to, because no one listens to this part of the show, I'm going to defend Matt Damon.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm with you now.
I'm frustrated because there will always be, especially right now, because you nailed it, Dylan. I mean, it started off as a conversation about PCU, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And also the conversation about the 60s and 70s. And at some point, there were people who became too sensitive to things.
Weston?
And it led into this concept of the difference between liberals and Republicans, or liberals and conservatives, as the liberals want to censor your free speech because it makes people upset, et cetera, et cetera. As it goes on every year for the rest of every decade for the rest of our lives, ad nauseum. That we have literally a moment in time where Matt Damon was in an interview and someone asked him questions about his best friend Ben Affleck and things that are going on, that he said, I think it's a salient point. Louis C.K. versus Weinstein versus Trump. There are differences between the kinds of abuse and attacks and assault that can happen.
Yes.
And all his point was looking at these things and saying, well, we need to know the facts, we need to know what the deal is, and we need to know that Louis C.K. jerking off in front of women versus someone literally sexually raping someone is a big deal difference. And conflating the two is dangerous when it comes, at the very least, on an academic level, but at the very most, when it comes to how we deal with how we punish these people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because right now,
And what is and is not punishable. You move that goalpost.
Right.
Yeah, we're effectively in an environment now where if I ask a girl on a date and she doesn't like the way I talk to her, I could be charged with, I could be publicly accused of being
Of assault.
of assault or some kind of
Yeah.
emotional rape.
That's a
effectively.
very dangerous way of looking at it, because it is...
Well, that's how dangerous the topic is, though.
Right.
I didn't actually hurt her.
Yeah.
I said something that she didn't like.
Hi, Mark.
Those are very, very different things.
Right.
There is this, and I think the word he even used, Matt Damon used, was spectrum. There is
There's
a
a spectrum.
spectrum,
There's a spectrum to
of what is assault, what is punishable, and how much do you punish.
And it's
Should you punish? Absolutely.
the frustrating thing is
But
that
not everyone's the same.
there's no reason whatsoever right now that we can live in the same universe where we care so much about what he says and also don't care about him as a person. Because that's what's happening. It's like we're freaking. People are freaking out. This age of hysteria is with this guy James DeFore. He writes for the Washington Post, writes for Huffington Post.
Fake news.
Great, honestly, great opinions. I talked to him about him before with you. I actually honestly recommend checking out his stuff because he is a very difficult opinion. Like, because he's very focused on this is the opposite of what you want to hear. Is like, no, this is what I believe, and also this is very academic. And he gets in trouble a lot with people on Facebook who do not like what he's saying because he's like,
Yeah, because life is hard.
because life is hard, life is complicated. These opinions are complicated. This is a person who looked at Matt Damon looked at someone and said, well, this is my opinion on these things. and they said, well, fuck him
He's
for
a
being
rape apologist.
yeah, fuck him for being a rape apologist, and also he's rich. What does he know? It's like you can't be both. You literally can't be both. You can't. It's impossible.
Right. It's a matter of
Well, and he's still entitled to his opinion,
Yeah,
especially when his opinion is saying this is a complex situation. We need to look at it.
yeah, yeah.
So he's absolutely 100% correct.
Right.
He says this is complicated. We should look at it and
Yeah.
understand this. It's not a black and white. It's not.
It can't be black and white.
people
Can't.
are.
It
People
It has
are-
to have a gradient. It has to have a spectrum because there's so many reasons to say this or this, and we have to need and at the
again-
same time, because I mentioned Morgan Spurlock before. Morgan Spurlock came out recently and said that he was part of the problem. That he was in a situation when he was younger, when he was with a woman who did not want to have sex. I can't remember if booze was involved or drugs were involved, but didn't want to have sex, and they were still intimate, and it got a little crazier, and then she cried, and then he backed off, and then she was into it again, and then cried, and then backed
He
off.
thought he made a mistake. She thought she was raped. Is what he said.
Right. And so, but the focus, that's the thing, is like they wind up having sex as she was still. I actually would recommend people find. I think it was not New York Post. There's this great little story called Cat People or Cat Person.
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I didn't understand it, but I respect the people who do understand it, and was able to find myself in a place that I'd never seen before after reading this thing. And I tried reading it like multiple times, just getting through like the first couple
I'm not
paragraphs.
familiar at all.
I'll bring it up after the thing. Go find Cat Person. Is it called Cat Person, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And it's really kind of wonderful as it comes to trying to understand what it's like for a woman trying to date without knowing who they're dating before they're actually intimate with that person.
Oh, okay.
And it leads into this crazy place that can either go to a very sincere and intimate look into someone's brain, or SJW, or someone who's anti-fem. Like all of them. It's a great big spectrum of all the different kinds of personalities you can find, because it's like it and I believe this was the author, I think, accidentally touched on the right veins, the right nerves.
It's very possible it was on accident.
Yes.
Huh.
But it's
But it is salient.
it's salient.
It is true.
It's salient and it's true. And
Yes.
it's wonderful. Because we're living in a place where everyone's scared in a way. And I believe that even looking at it, like the neo-fem thing, like I think there is some salience to the idea. Yeah, we've been there the whole time. You know, you saw the Center of Life thing, Welcome to Hell.
Yeah.
Like that actually does make a lot of sense.
Well, no, yeah. Sexual assault's been around forever.
Right.
There's never actually been a time where it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
In human history.
And there's weaponizing it to a point, and there's also weaponizing the anti-version of it, and like there's just so many different ways.
And there's also creating systems based around trying to stop it that are very easy to game, like the fucking honors civilizations and whatnot. It's the opposite of that.
I don't know
It's
what that
the
is.
Honor cultures, medieval Europe, for example.
Oh, okay.
It was really easy to game if all you did was never learn anything except how to hit people with sharp sticks real well.
Oh, sure.
Then you can just go get offended by anything and defend your honor against that guy's shoes on any given Wednesday.
Sure, yeah.
Kill him in the streets and nobody can do shit about it because your honor.
Yeah.
But my honor,
But my
which
honor.
was the entire point of the
That's what
Enlightenment philosophers and things like that to the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries was the sea change of
Sure.
that concept of going, it's a dignity culture. not
And
an
then
honor
lost
culture.
around 1994.
And now it's being lost. Yes, and it is
92,
it is
okay, okay.
it is rapidly being lost again, just on the other side of it, the
Right.
victim culture.
Yeah.
And-
Victim addiction, victim obsession, victim seduction is a really big thing.
Victim seduction.
Yeah, victim seduction.
Interesting.
Victim seduction is the simple concept that if something really, really terrible happens to you, that you wind up throwing your if like the thing that happened to you was the thing that you have Stockholm syndrome with, where it only feels good if you can find your way to believe that you're only important because you're still a victim.
Man.
It's fascinating and remarkable in a way. But we can talk about that a little bit longer. We have to break now. We
Yeah.
have to get up.
Show's over, man.
The show's over, man. Show's over, man.
I gotta.
It's back to Star Wars.
Yeah, back to Star Wars. Adam, thanks so much for coming and hang out with us.
You are welcome. Thank you for having
As
me.
always, and Dylan, thanks for helping me on the show.
Hey, don't buy Bitcoin.
Don't buy Bitcoin.
Stay out.
No. Go buy some Ripple, just in case. I don't know if it's important. If you like this show, you want to know about the show, you can go to drunkcastlive.com. That's drunkcastlive.com. Go sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up for a thing that actually tells you the Jason's things that we've been talking about or the things we haven't been talking about.
Or corrects us.
You know, it's a lot of fun. You can go to facebook.com/drunkcastlive or Twitter. We're at drunkcastlive on Twitter. We're drunkcastlive pics on Instagram. You can find us at the iTunes store. Apple store is probably the most important thing for podcasts. Just go and find a thing and do a comment. Tell us what you like and what you hate, and we can figure out if we're going to make this any better or any worse or whatever.
Or if we should listen to you.
Or we should listen to you at all. You know, you can go there. We're on Stitcher Store, Google Play Store. We're on the TuneIn. Any place where you can actually find a podcast, just go do a search for Drunk.
Ask your Google.
Ask your Google Home, or you can ask your Alexa, play Drunkcast Live
and
podcast.
It will do it.
And it will do it. It's really fun.
Much like mating fish, we put it out everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. And it's always uphill. And we can, after that, you can go to questions. You can email questions at drunkcastlive.com. It's an easy place to questions us. Or 802-359-7468. 802-359-SHOT. That's a phone number where you can call or text and leave a voicemail or text in that order, where we can answer your questions. If you like those things, if you like answering questions or asking questions, we can do that too. Any place in the whole universe where you can find anything that has anything to do with anything, you can do it with us, and we would be so privileged, so happy. Very cool. You go to the Threadless store. It's contentpending.threadless.com. And finding the shirts that we've made. Adam McWaters has an excellent 3-pinsman shirt that's fucking incredible. But you can also take any of the things that Drunkcast Live, any of the things that we have set up, and make them into anything you want. You can make mugs or T-shirts or baby onesies or
iPhone case,
or
coffee mug,
perhaps a shower curtain. If you're the first person to buy a shower curtain from the fucking Threadless store, I'll give you your money back. If you're the 50th person to do it, I'll give you 3 times your money back.
Ooh.
Just do it, dude. Just do it.
Send us photographs of it.
I mean, it has to be photographs.
When you have it hung up and disappointed your significant other.
Right.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'll give you an extra $20 if your significant other is crying while you're taking the selfie. In the photo. Yeah.
In the photo.
Yeah.
If you have clearly fucked up.
Yeah.
Why'd you waste your money on this, Earl?
I will even give you an extra $40 if you were holding your wedding certificate in front of your crying wife with the curtain in the background.
It's like a $200 value at this point. It's giving you money.
It's pretty fucking easy.
Right.
Yeah. 240-ish. Yeah.
And we're not gonna lie, it's an awesome shower curtain.
It's
It really is.
It's huge.
It's huge.
But I'm Travis. I love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
We come to let you know what the deal is.
Content pending.